We are going to start looking at some of the writings of what and I'm not alone here in saying this, many other people feel is an amazing teacher who is maybe not as well known as some of the other teachers that you have heard of. So I want to give a brief introduction to him. He is, of course, not with us in the space. However, I can, and I practiced with him on just a few occasions, so I don't have a lot of experience of practicing with him. However, I have a really deep respect for him. My teacher is the person who initially introduced me to him and invited him on a few occasions to Mount Equity Zendo where I trained. And Jisho as well practiced with him when she was in Japan. He's very, very well respected by the Japanese Zen community. And he lived in the United States for a number of years. I want to say like 2 decades, maybe. And he started out, his teacher, so his name is Fujita Issho. We call him Fujita Issho Sensei. He uh, he started out, he's a student of Uchiyama Kosho Roshi. And Uchiyama Kosho Roshi, also very seminal teacher for Soto Zen in the United States. Uchiyama Kosho Roshi was a student of Sawaki Kodo Roshi. And so these teachers are really seminal teachers. Now, Fujita Issho is also a Dharma brother of Shohaku Okumura, whom maybe several of you have heard of or read some of his books, Shohaku Okumura. And Shohaku lives right close, not too far from us in Indiana. So this is Fujita Issho, and I initially met him, and he probably doesn't remember this, but I was a lay student, and my teacher sent me to where he had been, where he was the head, which was Pioneer Valley Zendo, which is in Massachusetts. So I took the drive up to Massachusetts from Pennsylvania, so about an 8 or 9 hour drive for me, and we did a sesshin. It was just me and I think it was just one other person besides myself and Fujita Issho, and it was a scholar of Buddhism who passed away unfortunately, not 5 years after that, and he wasn't that old. But anyways, it was just the three of us doing sesshin. And one of the hallmarks of the practice that he he emptied himself into is shikantaza without toys, or Zen without toys, they call it. I'm not sure if that's a phrase that he used, he created, or maybe his teacher, or maybe Shohaku. I'm not sure. But they talk about sesshin without toys. Sesshin is a prolonged period of meditation, usually 3 to 5, maybe sometimes 7 days of shikantaza, of just sitting. And so their particular way of sitting is to only sit, to thoroughly sit, Zazen, without any Dharma talks, without any koan study, without any ceremony even, without any services, no morning service, no recitation of the Heart Sutra, nothing, zilch, just sitting, starting. I think we started at 5 a.m. and we went until maybe 9 p.m. It was pretty intense sitting. And you sit for 50 minutes of nonstop sitting, 10 minutes of walking meditation, and then 50 minutes of sitting. And you just continue to do that pattern with breakfast, lunch, and dinner served. Very simple breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So he called it Zazen without toys. it's a very good practice, very, very good practice. I got a chance to practice again with Fujita Issho when I was training in Japan at Shogoji. He was a guest lecturer. And while he can do this practice of just sitting for extended periods of time, he's also a wonderful lecturer. The way that he speaks about Zazen and shikantaza is quite unique and quite quite insightful, I think, for us. And the way that he writes too is also quite unique. And it's fairly to the point. So I got to experience him speak about shikantaza at Shogoji in Japan as the Jisho in a different training monastery. And then my teacher invited him to Mount Equity Zendo on at least two, maybe three occasions, at least two occasions that I remember. And he gave again just wonderful lectures on shikantaza. So what we're going to do I don't know how long we'll sustain this for, but I'd like to do this on Mondays for as long as possible, and as long as the interest remains, is to read some of his writings, and they're fairly informal writings. They can be found on the Soto Zen website. Let me pull it up, share my screen. And I would encourage you to read his stuff even before you come into our class. And it's very inspirational for doing Zazen. So if you go to this webpage, sotozen.com, and this talks about Soto practice in Japan and the many centers, the many Soto Zen temples that are connected directly with Soto Shu, or the Soto school in Japan. So this website is an incredible resource for anybody who wants to study our particular school of Zen. Keep in mind, there's plenty of other ways to practice meditation. And there's a lot of different kinds of teachers out there. They are not all the same. And Soto Zen has its own uniqueness. Now, Soto Zen, the way that I understand it, is different from the Soto Rinzai blend. That's actually more popular approach in the United States. This is Soto Rinzai blend, where there's a blending of the study and practice of koans with the study and practice of Zazen. The hallmark of Soto Zen is what's called shikantaza, or just sitting. And so we can trace our roots to back to Japan, and there are tremendous teachings that come from this particular school of Zen. And again, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to find a lot of shikantaza teachers in the United States, but if you were to look in Japan, you'll find most of the teachers there are shikantaza, most of them. So it's good to know. It's good to know this, right? Just for our understanding, because there's so much diversity, not only within the Zen school in the United States, but within Buddhist schools in the United States, as well as within like secular forms of meditation. So if you go to this site, sotozen.com, and you look at the library, and again, you've got a lot of resources here. And I'm going to the Soto Zen journal called Dharma Eye. So that's what I've pulled up here. So we're going to look at, and I'm scrolling down to find Fujita Issho. His writing is not in the front. It's on page 34 of this particular issue. And by the way, there's a lot of other great material on this website. So you can find, just before Fujita Issho, you've got none other than Shohaku Okumura writing. Oh, no, this is the Soto Zen text project. All right, that's something else. I think this one up here is is Shohaku Okumura's writing. Let me see. Let's get up here. Here it is. Yeah, here's Shohaku Okumura. So he's writing on Avalokiteshvara. But anyways, this is just again, I cannot highlight this enough. This is a tremendous, tremendous resource for us, and we are going to delve into it as long as the interest in it is present. Because I think I do you guys a disservice by not introducing you to not only this website but the great teachers that are a part of it. So look through it as best you can, and we will have fun. All right. On that note, I'm going to stop my recording, and we're going to look into this writing of Fujita Issho.